day is it? I'm not talking about this World Cup. I'm talking about the '83 World Cup. It's the day. Hello and welcome to My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me.
For any cricketer, growing up, those moments which have been displayed, Kapil Dev lifting that cup is something which is a memorable moment in cricketing history, especially Indian cricket. From there, cricket got revived. Cricket became religion of sorts in India, and that's something was a milestone event. And after that, the '85
the Vincent had the World Championship of
where
Cricket.
Mr. Ravi Shastri was
Champion of champions.
Champion of champions, yes.
With everyone sitting on that car, them driving around. That's one of those recurring visuals for me as well.
That as
from
well.
childhood.
So for me, as in I wasn't born in the '83 World Cup.
Really?
Don't worry, down south we don't mess with our age. Just so you know. So I wasn't genuinely born. So for me, my memory, I think one of the things that stand out for me is Kapil Dev's catch of Vivian Richards in that finals.
Yeah.
Like he ran back like 40, 50, maybe 60 meters and then took that running catch. Phenomenal. And that last wicket and Mohinder Ramana trying to get one of those bails, like he tries to get a stumpy and ends up with only a bail or something. So those are the two memories that stick with me and like always go back to when I think about that World Cup.
Excellent. Well, listen. Today we're going to be, invoking that memory a lot, and in the mid-show we'll even show you the scorecard and we'll discuss that game a lot. Right now we got to get to business at hand, so don't have much time, and it's a really, really big game. It's the ashes of the white ball. It's England versus Australia, one of the longest-standing rivalries in cricket history, and today they are playing at the home of cricket, Lord's. Where else? And let's show you the points table so you know the implications for both the teams. Perhaps safe to say, perhaps more critical for England this game than for Australia.
Oh, definitely. I think it's you could even see from their pre-match, that huddle that they had. And
It's stressed, man.
Just stark differences between Australia and England, and you could see someone who's as grim as Stark, smiling and laughing and having a good time. Where England were all uptight and in a circle and just like listening to someone talk, and you could see the the tension within that group. That England group is actually palpable, compared to Australia. They're more relaxed. They feel like they're in with a chance. They're pretty much through, and they just have to kind of finish up the processes before they go to the knockout stage.
Yeah. Well, give you a little bit of history since we're in the mood for history today. England has not got the better of Australia in a World Cup since 1992. 1992. But in more recent history, they've got the better of them in 10 out of the last 11 ODIs that the two teams have played. So England obviously going into this, feeling more informed, 1-5-0 against them just recently. But the overall head-to-head for the World Cup, and Zach, you'll help us make sense of these numbers. I mean, these are numbers, it's history. You keep saying Raat gayi, baat gayi, it's a new day, etc. Can this play on your mind a little bit?
We keep talking about World Cup pressures.
Yeah.
And I think that is something which we have to see how England is dealing with it now, because they are under serious pressure at this moment in the tournament, just by their fixtures and where the table stands, how things have shaped up, and it's only England to blame for. So they've actually missed couple of matches which they should have won. So now they've landed in this this situation at the moment. So they should be feeling the pressure. The recent numbers against Australia is something which they can take confidence from. So that is something which they should focus on. And history is there to change, right? So that's something which you should look at history. When things are not going your way, how can you look at it? It's time to change the history. That's the only way you can approach it. I mean, you can't say that, oh, we've always been losing to Australia, now we'll lose again.
We will lose again.
So it's not going to help the cause. But I still feel that winning the toss and bowling first is actually going to work in England's favour today's match, even though they are under pressure. Because that's something which they've been doing well consistently in the tournament. Even in the previous match, they managed to get Sri Lanka out at on 232, which was a decent total to restrict any team. So that is something I think which is a good sign for England at the moment, because even though there are nerves in that dressing room and in that camp, I think once you set the tone with the ball, which has been your strongest suit so far in the tournament, so that is something the bowling can take the pressure. ease off the pressure of batsmen. So that is
such
something
a great
which,
point. That's such a great point, Zach. And Zach makes such a great point because you say that if you're feeling tense, you don't want to be batting first because your margin of error is one ball.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas when you're bowling and you're there for 3.5 hours in the field, the margin of error is just a little more because the ball can go for 4, but you can get a wicket next ball. So it helps your bats.
And
Does it
you're
help
also
batsmen calm down?
You're also going in as a group. So the difference
Great
is you're not
point.
going in alone, right? Or
Yeah.
you're not going in with just another mate. You're going in with your whole team, that whole bunch. So you feed off each other's energy. You actually, if someone else does well, it calms your nerves down as well.
Wow.
You feel a lot more confident. Against, you go into bat, you get beaten off a beauty of a delivery, and suddenly you're like, shit, what's going on? And I really need to play the next ball well.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, okay, what's the prerogative here? What are we looking to do as two opening batsmen or two batsmen here in the middle? So the focus kind of shifts, the pressure kind of adds when you go in alone to bat, compared to, especially when there's nerves.
Yeah, and more so given the fact that James Vince and Johnny Bairstow, well, Vince has just played the one game, but and Bairstow has not been getting runs. They've not been getting runs for England at the top, thus putting pressure on everybody else. But right now, we of course are going to talk about the Australia batting because Australia have been put in to bat by Ewan Morgan. Look at that team; they've got two changes. Experience of Nathan Lyon instead of Zampa. Think it's a good move, perhaps. Jason Behrendorff getting the left armour in for Nathan Coulter-Nile. Zach, what do you make of the bowling changes?
I think it's for the England middle order. If you see England middle order, you have yes, Root batting at number 3, but on Morgan and Ben Stokes. So
Moeen
that
Ali.
is and Moeen Ali.
Yep.
So it's keeping in mind their middle order and lower middle order. Have left-handers, 3 left-handers is a good number for you to make that tactical change. So I think today's change is not a forced change that Zampa is out of form. I think they are going to stick with Zampa in the longer run.
Yeah.
But it's a very tactical change, keeping the opponent in mind, which is England today. Behrendorff is someone who is good with the new ball.
Yeah.
He's a conditions bowler. If conditions assist him, he can be dangerous to face. So that is the another thought process which I've seen. Coulter-Nile has been on and off with his rhythm. He's been getting wickets, scoring those important runs, but he's not consistently bowling well. It's not seen that every spell of his has been that effective.
Also, do you think it also could be because of the pitch and
That's
because
slope.
Because the left armers can come in.
Left armers can actually
What is that
utilize-
slope situation at Lord's, Zach? Tell us about the slope.
We discussed this. It's very
At
interesting.
Lord's.
It's actually quite.
Tell me also.
I thought
here.
I thought this is a second game at Lord's, so I might not have to discuss the slope.
A little bit.
But well, the slope situation is pretty much talked about every game.
It's like this, isn't
So
it?
it's about, I think, 6 feet. I'm not sure about exact number, but if you look from the dressing room on your left to right, looking at Lord's, this left side is about 6 feet in the height difference.
Wow.
Taller than
So
this.
the other side is 6 feet lower.
So that's how you
And
make...
that's how that slope has made such an impact in terms of bowling. So you can actually make use of the slope and get the ball to move from that slope.
That's almost
that's
how
how the spinners also. So if the spinners are bowling from the pavilion end, they will actually get more turn.
Wow.
And if you're bowling from the other side, which is nursery end, then it will go. Even if you bowl off spin, at times it goes with the slope to the other side. So it's bowling with the slope, bowling against the slope, and the left armers also can decide what is the advantage which you want to get. Whether you want the ball to come more in, because we saw with Amir bowling from the pavilion end just to get that extra help with the ball coming back into the right hander. And if you wanted to go like someone like Mitchell Starc should use it from the other end. Because his ball is always shaping in, so he can actually trouble batsmen by bringing the ball back in with the slope going away.
So does this mean that Kapil Paji's catch in 83 is easier than it looks because he was running downhill? I'm just kidding. He was running uphill. It's
what?
even tougher.
You know what? If catches were on the ground, then yes.
No, I was thinking about. I was worrying about it. I was like, listen,
If catches were on the ground.
on the ground.
Yes.
Then yes. Can that happen if you slide at the 30-yard circle, you reach the boundary? Just going downhill. Just keep going on the slope.
Chahal might.
Little easy on the slope. And especially if it's a windy day. Yeah. Okay, well, the openers, of course, Aaron Finch and David Warner. Let's talk about Finch for just a second. Underrated hero for Australia this World Cup he's been?
Much needed hero for Australia. You know, and if you look at their tournament, it was Nathan Coulter-Nine who provided the impetus to this side, and the fact that Aaron Finch was in unbelievable form coming into this tournament, right? So, you know, his form was much needed for Australia's hopes to change.
For Warner as well, is his form very important to Warner as well, coming back into the game after a year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's your foundation, right? The foundation is set from there. So you need both of them to complement each other. And if you look at the tournament, even the way it's been played and the way the two of them have played in the tournament, it's always been Finch who has gone on the attack as compared to David Warner. And that gives Warner time, because he's coming back to international cricket after 12 months. So it gives him time to kind of assess and, you know, feel a part of it again. And now he's got a couple of hundreds. So he'll be in a good space right now as well. And I think Finch has played a huge role in helping him come back into the form that he has in this level of cricket.
And Finch loves playing against England. There are some oppositions, isn't it, Zach? Some oppositions just get out a little more from you than others. And I mean, this England-Australia rivalry is no less, yesterday you mentioned, than the India-Pakistan rivalry. Yeah. And somehow this really gets the best out of Finch.
Yes, I think that's what the numbers are suggesting. But I feel that if England has done their homework right, and they have the right resource to actually tackle Finch in this particular match, because Jofra's strength is that. You know, Jofra's strength is actually hitting the deck and then the ball goes back in. And you've seen how Bhuvneshwar has troubled Finch. So if England has done their homework right, I'm looking forward to that first half an hour in terms of what are the plans. You know, what are the plans which will be used and the tactics which will be used against Finch and Warner both in terms of that bowling meeting, how that had gone. Because if there is help in the wicket and Jofra's natural angle which is coming back in, I think he should trouble Finch if he gets the length right. And the length has to be a little fuller than what he normally bowls. If he's able to do that, you know, you may see early wickets today.
Yeah, because they haven't had early wickets against Australia. The opening combination has ensured, I mean, all the matches they played, only once have they got out in the power play. That's a staggering statistic, isn't it?
Yeah, they have been setting up a great foundation for Australia, and it's been one of the reasons that Australia have gone on to win games, because that foundation has been very solid. They've taken their time in a lot of games, but for me in this game, what I as a batsman will also be watching is if the technical changes that Aaron Finch has made to his batting actually stands up against the quality of bowling that England have. Because they not just have really express quick bowlers, they have guys who move the ball, seam, you know, what's his name?
Mark Wood.
Not Mark Wood, the other one. Wokesy. Space Wokes. So, brain fade.
They've got a Wokes, they've got a Stokes, they've got a Folks who plays in their test team, you know.
So he's someone who moves the ball beautifully off the seam both ways. So I want to see if actually his technique holds up against these guys, because it'll be very interesting for me as a batsman to see, because I understand the changes he's made as to why he wants to, you know,
cover the off stump, sort of move a little more.
Not, in fact, actually he's moving just his back foot.
Right?
Oh, the back foot.
Yeah, but his left leg stays in wherever it is, because he wants room for the bat to come through. So he's made that change. I used to do that earlier, but I used to get out LBW a lot, because my leg used to go across a lot. So I used to bat like that. So I know that there are downsides to that technique, but I'd be really interested to see if that actually holds up against a quality bowling attack like England.
Yeah, well, if somebody's making plans against Finch and Warner, it's definitely the England fast bowlers, because they want to change that stat. They want to get not just one, but possibly both openers in the power play. Before I show you the England 11, what's your team? What's your team? My 11 Circle team. You've downloaded the app, obviously. I know you. I have faith in you. And now you have to, of course, pick today's game. It's very simple. England and Australia. And, of course, create your own team. Tough one today because there are some champion players in both sides. Showed you the Australia team, let's show you the England 11. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, they say, but it's a little broke, isn't it, after the last game? But they still haven't fixed it.
Well,
no changes.
Like I said, I'm glad. Like I said yesterday, I'm glad they haven't made any change, because if they make any changes, it would send a message that they're panicking as a unit, and it's good that they haven't made any changes. I think they're, everyone in that group, except besides James Wins have been guys who tried and tested and performed there and doing well based on current form as well. James Wins comes in as a replacement for Jason Roy, and he has this role to fill. So that's the only change, and I'm glad in the sense that they haven't made any change.
You're happy with this bowling unit, right? This is a good bowling unit. It's got plenty of options.
I think this bowling unit will be even more effective today because of the conditions they've been talking about. Both the captains were talking about there is enough moisture in the wicket. Michael Clarke was suggesting that the wicket is feeling cold. There's been rain around last night, so that is something which was being discussed enough, and the conditions are on the side where it will have some kind of help for the seamers. And Vokes is someone, especially who needs conditions.
Yeah.
If there are conditions to assist, then he becomes more effective. Yeah. So that first spell will be much more penetrative, I think, for England. Because Archer is someone who we all know. Hope his fitness is fine, because there was a question mark on that. Wood is also another bowler who can add that pace and good areas. Like if you look at this bowling lineup of England, they got that pace and movement both.
Yeah.
Ben Stokes also gets that outswing going. So if there is help in if the overhead conditions are helping this attack, then the home conditions, they know how to make the most of these conditions, which I think right now puts England in a even kind of a battle.
Yeah.
Since they've won the toss.
Yeah. So yesterday both Robin and Zach said their advantage Australia just a little bit going into the game, but today, after looking at the conditions and the fact that Morgan's won the toss and that they're going to be chasing and not batting first, you're saying it's more even keel, and that's what you want to see. You want to see an even keel kind of contest. Very interesting also will be Archer, who's seen a lot of Steve Smith over the last 2 months in India, right? 2 months in India, they've been there. Do you then see, all right, Steve Smith's come in, if and when he comes into bat, probably just give one over to Jofra. Come on, just rattle your Rajasthan
big talk
captain.
about bowling someone in the nets, and how that how he prepares and all that. I don't think it matters that much, because what you bring to the match is something different. That match time, that play time zone is something which is different for each individual. So and it works vice versa as well. So you're talking about Smith knowing Archer knowing what Smith does, but Smith also knows what Archer does.
Yeah.
So it might just negate that factor as well. With the technology and how every team has got all this data to analyze from, I think there is nothing like bowling in the nets.
Correct.
You see on TV screen also the other day they were showing that what is the angle which Mujibur Rahman is bowling, the 3 variations and how he delivers. You don't need to be in the nets. You can get that info and that data anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that advantage is overhyped and overrated.
But do you think it plays a part, say, in test matches? You think it's more relevant in test matches if you say played against an opponent and you are going up against him in a test match. Does a test match give you more time to actually say work on those particular aspects as compared to a one-day?
I've always been a believer of one fact. As an individual, you have to control what you are controlling.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter. It's end of the day. It's a game. You can get out by lapse in concentration.
Yeah.
Right. So the bowler has not really played a part. It's you who you can blame for that dismissal. So similarly, you have to prepare for each and every individual in terms of. And there are smart batsmen and bowlers, so it's and that's the beauty of the game, right?
Correct.
So you have time to prepare, and that's why you have all these assistants from various coaches to technology to all the aspects which helps you get in that zone and perform better. Is what I feel.
Of course, Australia batting first are looking at what kind of score are they looking at, thinking, all right, England, 230, they didn't get it last time, but hey, that's just an aberration. This England team can chase anything. So we definitely need to go for the 300, the 330. You're saying this looks like a batting wicket always. It gets a lot of runs. What's Australia walking out thinking?
I think anything above 275.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Above 275, they'll really give themselves a great chance to defend that score. Also, for me, I'm of the belief, in my experience, what I've seen is that when you bat first on slightly damp tracks, batting second on that becomes even harder, because if the sun comes down, there are dents on that wicket, and those dents can be utilized. And if the opposition team have a good bunch of fast bowlers, those dents can be used as well. So if this wicket is slightly damp or slightly soft, and those dents are formed, and the sun comes down beating, batting second is going to be slightly harder.
But pace versus pace, Zach. I mean, both these bowling units, and we'll just line it up again to just see man to man. I don't know, in terms of pace versus pace, it's a tough call, right, of who has an advantage in terms of Australia and England?
Yeah, they both have formidable attacks for sure. I think England has slightly more advantage because of Ben Stokes changing the balance of that side. You have Adil Rashid, so they got leg spinner as well. So that's another advantage which you can look at, and off spin of Moeen Ali. So in terms of attack, I think that slight advantage is with England at the moment. With Australia, they still have 5 overs of Maxwell to look for, or Stoinis taking that. Maybe today, if the conditions are helping, Stoinis might be able to bowl a bit more overs than that. Nathan Lyon for sure has that ability to bowl in any kind of conditions. So I think it's advantage England in terms of options and the ability of bowlers.
Okay, well, we've just got a few bits of business left now. A joy factor question. Let's see what he has for us today. A historic battle. Hopefully this is a historic question as well. If it was an Oscar and Grammy Award winner in 2003 and a player nicknamed England's Umbrella in 2009, then who is it going to be in October 2019?
Only Joyda can understand these questions.
What is going on?
This is a question made for Rohit. Joyda's.
No, but he answers these kind of questions well.
Yeah, that's what I said. This question is made for Rohit. Joyda's like, yesterday Rohit didn't win, so let's put out a question that Rohit only wins.
Only his algorithm can decode this question.
So Joyda is missing Rohit.
I
think he is. Basically, we are missing Joyda, right? And he's missing Rohit. There's a love triangle that is formed over here. Can we just show that question once again for us ordinary mortals to just understand it? It was an Oscar and Grammy Award winner in 2003 and a player nicknamed England's Umbrella in 2009. Was it maybe in October 2019? What's happening in October 2000? What happened? 2003? What happened? What's going on?
Is it even a cricket question?
Is it even a question? Leave alone cricket.
You know what's easier?
What?
To watch the game.
Yeah,
Let's watch the game.
I'm going to ask an even easier question before we go. Predictions for our My 11 Circle Expert Couch. Of course, I'm the defending champion from yesterday. But today, the guesses for what is Australia going to get in their designated 50 overs. Gentlemen, go with your guesses. Are you going to be bullish or bearish?
I'm going to be a little bullish, say 260 for Australia.
260 is bearish.
You're considering 260 as
a good total on this track, yeah.
No.
I'm going with 280, I think.
280, bearish. I'm going to go with Auntie 303. It was a character we had in Channel V long time back. So 303. I'm going to go with 303.
Done.
That's my guess. What's yours? Hashtag Cricbuzz Live on Twitter for the Joy Factor answers and for any guesses that you have for what Australia is going to get. We're going to have Cricbuzz Combox at the end of the 15th over to give you a little update of what's going on. So in about an hour and 5 minutes from hour and 15 minutes from now, an hour and 15 minutes from now, open your Cricbuzz app again and we shall pop up. Right now is all we have time for on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. A big thank you to Zaheer Khan and Robin Uthappa. I'm Gaurav Kapur saying goodbye. I will see you in a little while. Okay, bye-bye.